The foot-in-the-door effect, the psychological wisdom behind taking things step by step. Back in the 1950s, in a suburb of Ohio, USA, salesman Tom Wilson went door-to-door peddling a new vacuum cleaner. Instead of jumping right into selling the $200 machine, he'd first ask the housewife, "Ma'am, do you mind if I take 5 minutes to show you how to clean the dust out of the cracks in your carpet?" Most people said yes to this small favor. After the demo, he'd follow up, "If you're okay with it, I can clean a small section of your living room carpet for free. Let you see the real difference." By the time the housewives saw how much cleaner the carpet was, he'd smoothly bring up buying the vacuum. That day, Tom closed 3 times more deals than his fellow salesmen. More than half a century later, this strategy of starting with a small request, then moving to a bigger one, was officially named the foot-in-the-door effect by psychologists, becoming one of the key rules that shape how people make decisions. The foot-in-the-door effect, from experiment to definition. Systematic research on the foot-in-the-door effect began in 1966, when American social psychologists Jonathan Friedman and Scott Fraser designed a classic experiment. They randomly selected 156 households in Palo Alto, California, and split them into 2 groups. For the first group, the researchers made a direct, big request. "Would you let us put up a large billboard that says, 'Drive carefully' in your yard?" The billboard was 1.8 meters tall and 1.5 square meters wide, big enough to block the yard's view. Only 17% of households agreed. For the second group, the researchers took a step-by-step approach. First, they went door-to-door asking, "Can we put a small sticker on your window to remind people about traffic safety?" The sticker was no bigger than a palm and nicely designed. 90% of households agreed without hesitation. 2 weeks later, the researchers returned to this group with a big request, putting up the large billboard. Surprisingly, the agreement rate jumped to 55%, more than 3 times higher than the first group. Behind this experiment lies a core logic of human cognition and behavior. When someone agrees to a tiny, low-effort request, they subconsciously build a self-image that fits social expectations, like, "I'm someone who cares about public good." To keep this self-image consistent, when a bigger request later lines up with that earlier image, people are more likely to say yes. They want to avoid cognitive dissonance, the mental conflict of thinking, "I supported public welfare before, but now I'm saying no, that doesn't match who I think I am." This commitment and consistency psychological mechanism is the driving force behind the foot-in-the-door effect. Real-world uses of the foot-in-the-door effect, from business to society. Marketing, use small trials to drive big purchases. In business, the foot-in-the-door effect has long been a secret weapon for companies worldwide to capture markets. The core idea is to lower consumers' decision-making barriers with low-threshold experiences, then gradually guide them to spend more. When Amazon launched its Prime membership in 2005, it didn't ask users to pay the $79 annual fee, the initial price, right away. Instead, it offered a 30-day free trial. All users needed to do was provide an email and credit card info to get free shipping, streaming, and other perks. During the trial, the system would keep sending alerts about exclusive member discounts and next-day delivery experiences, helping users get used to the benefits. According to Amazon's 2006 financial report, about 65% of users chose to pay for the membership after the trial ended. This strategy helped Prime hit 100 million members in just 10 years. Netflix, the world's biggest streaming platform, uses the same logic when entering new markets. It always starts with a low-cost or free first month. When it launched in Germany in 2020, for example, it offered a first month for €1.99. The regular price was €8.99 per month. No long-term contract was required, and users could cancel any time. Data showed that 48% of German users who tried the trial converted to paid subscribers. Many users kept subscribing even after the price went up. They'd already gotten into the habit of binge-watching shows on Netflix every week, and canceling would make them feel like they were losing their go-to entertainment. Social welfare. Use small actions to build big responsibility. Charities often use the foot-in-the-door effect to build habits, not just ask for big donations. When the U.S. environmental group 350.org wanted to promote low-carbon living, it didn't start by telling people to stop driving or install solar panels. Instead, it launched a Meatless Day campaign. Volunteers went door-to-door handing out vegetarian recipes and asking, Can you try eating vegetarian for one day this Wednesday to help cut carbon emissions? The request cost almost nothing and didn't disrupt daily life. About 30% of U.S. households gave it a try. A month later, the group reached out to those participants again with a new request. Since you're already used to meatless day, can you try biking to work one more day a week? By then, the participants had already mentally identified as someone who cares about the environment. To keep that image, about 60% agreed. After 6 months of gradual steps, when the group launched a campaign to install energy-saving light bulbs at home, the participation rate hit 72%. From eating vegetarian for one day to changing energy habits, the foot-in-the-door effect turned eco-friendly actions from one-time tries into everyday routines. A similar example is the American Red Cross's blood donation drives. Traditional blood drives often scare people off. They take time and involve a little pain. So the Red Cross changed its approach. First, it hosts free blood donation info sessions in communities, only an hour long. After the session, staff ask, "Can you leave your contact info so we can tell you about nearby blood drives?" When people get alerts about blood drives, they then get a text, "You cared about blood donation info before. Right now, patients are in urgent need of type A blood. Can you spare 2 hours to donate?" Data shows this step-by-step approach boosted willingness to donate by 35%. Many people said, "I already learned how important blood donation is. Saying no would make me feel irresponsible." Workplace management. Use small goals to unlock big potential. In corporate management, the foot-in-the-door effect is widely used to motivate employees and build skills. The key is to break down goals to reduce employees' stress while helping them feel a sense of achievement. Google's 20% time policy is essentially an application of this effect. Employees can use 20% of their workweek on small projects they're interested in, no complicated proposals needed, and no requirement to create business value. At first, many employees just use this time for small tech tweaks, like improving the interface of the internal office software. When these little improvements get recognized by the team, they start trying more complex projects. Features like Gmail's starred messages and Chrome's incognito mode first started as small ideas employees worked on during their 20% time. Google's HR department found that employees who've worked on these small projects are 40% more willing to take on core projects later. Why? Because finishing small goals help them build confidence that I can create value for the company, and that confidence pushes them to take on bigger challenges. U.S. chain Starbucks also uses this effect in employee training. When new hires join, managers don't ask them to handle the full process of making 10 drinks plus serving customers right away. Instead, they set small goals. On day 1, just memorize the recipes for 3 drinks. On day 2, practice making one of those drinks. On day 3, try helping a coworker serve 1 customer. After each small goal is met, managers give specific praise, like, "The foam on that latte you made today is perfect." This step-by-step training helps new hires get up to speed twice as fast as traditional training and cuts turnover by 25%. The quick wins from small goals ease new employees' workplace anxiety and help them build confidence in their jobs through constant positive feedback. The limits of the foot-in-the-door effect. Use it wisely, don't guilt trip. Even though the foot-in-the-door effect is powerful, it doesn't work in every situation. Overusing it can backfire and make people annoyed. The U.S. Consumer Protection Association did a survey. When companies make more than 3 progressive requests in a row, consumer resistance jumps from 15% to 60%. For example, some telecom companies first lure users with free data upgrades, then ask them to sign a 2-year contract, and then push value-added service packages. In the end, they get tons of complaints. This kind of pushing one's luck breaks the balance between requests and rewards. Consumers feel manipulated and end up saying no to all requests. The key to using the foot-in-the-door effect well is balancing how much you step up requests with what users expect. First, the initial request must be no pressure, like asking users to fill in 1 piece of info, not 10, or join a 10-minute activity, not 2 hours. Second, every request should come with immediate feedback, things like trial perks in business or updates on results in charity, so users feel their effort matters. Finally, take it slow. Give users enough time to adapt and build new habits. Rushing will only make them push back. From a suburban salesman in the US to global tech giants, the foot-in-the-door effect boils down to respecting human psychology. It doesn't try to force people to change. Instead, it guides them step by step, making change feel natural. In a time of fierce business competition and divided social consensus, this kind of gentle influence might be more likely to win people over than forceful persuasion, and it's better at creating long-term win-win value.